Angeles County Registrar Recorder. An anonymous video landed in my inbox. In it, Adrian was on bended knee on the cold marble of Glendale Galleria's atrium. A woman in a white sundress standing over him. Luna, I was wrong. Please don't leave me. His voice echoed beneath the glass dome. Bystanders circled. Phones raised. Live comments scrolling. Wow. Kneeling for another woman on his wedding day? This guy's a serial cheater. Who's Luna? Didn't the CEO just marry the Ivy League lawyer? Place your bets. Guys, whose bed does CEO Vance sleep in tonight? Subscribe now and tell us where you're tuning in from. Watching Adrian grovel. I remembered the vow he'd made the first time he proposed. Serena, you'll be the only woman I ever kneel to. Now he knelt to someone else. I set the phone down, went to the safe, and pulled out the stock transfer agreement he'd signed that same night. To prove his sincerity, he'd promised that if he ever betrayed me, every share he owned would become mine. I signed my name beneath his. The marriage he'd bought with 108 proposals would cost him, starting on day one. My ringtone cut through the quiet. Adrian, sweetheart, I probably won't make it home tonight, he said, sounding exhausted. Emergency project, pulling an all-nighter at the downtown office. I glanced at the video's timestamp. 10 minutes ago. Work hard, I answered. Calm. I'll make it up tomorrow. I've booked the presidential villa in the Maldives for our honeymoon. Fine. The moment the line went dead, I texted my investigator. Move to phase 1. If he wanted lies, I'd give him war. Next morning Adrian came home clutching a huge bouquet. Weariness still clinging to him. Honey, last night was brutal. No sleep at all. He kissed my cheek. Miss me? I lifted my coffee. Every second. Good. He exhaled. Oh, we just hired a new interior designer, Luna. She stayed up with me drafting. Sweet kid. My hand twitched. He dared speak her name. Really? I set the cup down. Introduce us sometime. Panic flickered in his eyes, then vanished. She's shy. Another day maybe. Whatever you say. I rose to leave for my Century City law firm. I'll be late. Big case. How big? Shareholder dispute. Big enough to sink a company. His face paled. I brushed his ear on my way out. Honesty costs less. Darling. At the office, my assistant Mia handed me a thick file. Everything you asked for. Inside, a timeline of Adrian and Luna stretched back 3 months. While I'd teared up over proposal 108, they'd already been a couple. The last page read, Luna Rowe, 26. Interior designer. Single, allegedly. Currently Adrian's mistress. Last night, public quarrel at Glendale Galleria. Adrian on bended knee. I closed the file. Downed the glass of red on my desk. You like mall floors. Adrian, I'll let you kneel until your bones ache. At 3 sharp I stepped into Glendale Galleria, their favorite haunt. Yesterday's stage. I flashed my California bar license at security. I need last night's footage, critical evidence for a case. The supervisor pulled it up without blinking. On screen, outside a Tiffany boutique. Adrian clutched Luna's wrist. Luna, it's a marriage of convenience. I love only you, he pleaded. Then why marry her? Luna's eyes brimmed. Her family's cash will save Vance Corporation. Once we're stable, I'll divorce her and make you my wife. I don't believe you. She turned, desperate. Adrian dropped to both knees. If I'm lying, let lightning strike me dead. Crowd swelled. Phones out. Comments flying. That's Adrian Vance, CEO of Vance Corporation. Just married the top litigator. Already cheating? I had the supervisor burn every angle to a USB drive. My next stop, the Tiffany boutique. The clerk greeted me warmly. Mrs. Vance, your custom ring is ready. 5 carats. Exactly as Mr. Vance ordered. My brow lifted. Custom? Yes. But yesterday another lady saw it and flipped. Mr. Vance calmed her by ordering her the exact same design. Exact same. In his mind, we were interchangeable. Keep them, I said over my shoulder. Consider the deposit a tip. On the atrium floor where he'd knelt. My phone vibrated. Adrian, where are you? Sweetheart? Nerves cracked his voice. Shopping for your wedding gift. Busy? Just clients? Tricky design presentation. Liars pay interest. Adrian, remember that. I hung up, smiling at the irony. I texted my PA. Execute plan B. 2 hours until his surprise delivery. I walked to the cafe and slid into the booth opposite Warner, Adrian's rival, and my next chess piece. Warner, pleasure. His eyes sharpened. Counselor Vance. This is unexpected. A proposition. I pushed a folder across. Concerning Vance Corporation. He skimmed, pulse rising with every page. These numbers are real. The cash flow is about to snap. A gentle nudge at the right moment and the whole tower tilts. How gentle. I produced a second file. Tomorrow's board meeting, Present yourself as a creditor demanding immediate repayment. 300 million, he whistled. That'll trigger chapter 11, and you pick the bones for pennies. I offered my hand. Deal? He took it. Your ice. Counselor, he owes me. I collect. 7 p.m. sharp. I walked into our Beverly Hills penthouse. Adrian waited, face thunderous. We need to talk, he snapped. Talk, I answered, draping my coat on the chair. Photos of you and Warner at lunch. Explain. I lifted a brow. You're questioning me? I'm your husband. And, husband, I took out my phone and played last night's Galleria security footage. This is how you act as a husband? The instant Adrian saw the video, his face went the color of ash. Serena, let me explain. Explain what? I cut him off. Explain why. On our wedding day, you were on bended knee to another woman. Explain why you bought her the exact same ring you gave me. Or explain why you told a crowd of strangers you only married me for money. Adrian opened his mouth, but no words came. Adrian, the moment you chose betrayal, this game began. I walked to the safe, took out the equity transfer agreement. Remember this? When he saw the contract, his face went from white to green. It's already enforceable. I laid it on the coffee table. From today, every share of Vance Corp belongs to me. Impossible. Adrian lunged and tried to snatch it. I never consented to any transfer. You already did. I produced another document. Here's last night's audio from the mall. You admit on tape you married me for money, fulfilling the breach clause. He stared at the recorder, paralyzed. Serena, you're getting back at me. Exactly. I'm getting back at you. I watched terror flood his eyes. Did you think betrayal was free? Then why did you meet Warner? Because tomorrow Vance Corporation files for bankruptcy. I pulled out the debt schedule. What your company owes Warner's firm totals 300 million. All due tomorrow. Adrian seized the schedule, page after page, his expression darkening. Some of these debts are fake. Which ones? I asked coldly. Every line has a contract, a Venmo transfer, your corporate seal. He flipped through every sheet but found no hole. All of it was real, only deferred by tricks I'd played. Now I'd bundled every note under Warner and accelerated them. Serena, you can't do this. He dropped to his knees. This company is my life. You can't destroy it. Your life? I looked down. And mine. 5 years. 108 proposals. All a con. Wasn't that my life too? I was wrong. I swear. He clutched my legs. I'll dump Luna. Let's start over. Too late. I shook him off. Adrian, remember, some things, once lost, stay lost, like trust, like love. He slumped on the carpet, eyes hollow. Serena, please, one more chance. Chance? I picked up my purse. You've used them all. At the door I glanced back. Oh, 9 sharp tomorrow. Boardroom on Wilshire Boulevard. Bring Luna so she can watch her man lose everything. I left without looking back. His broken sobs followed me, but I felt nothing. He chose betrayal. Now he pays. And this is only the opening act. I drove to the Beverly Hills Hotel and checked in. Best suite you have, I told the receptionist. Yes, Mrs. Vance. She handed me the key card with a bow. Top floor, 2801. Call us anytime. In the elevator, I studied my reflection. Serena 5 years ago, naive enough to believe love conquers all. Serena now, cold enough to know only power protects. Adrian, thank you for the lesson, but the ledger isn't closed. Next morning at 8:30 sharp, I stepped onto Wilshire Boulevard outside Vance Corp's headquarters. I wore a black power suit, hair in a tight ponytail, a judge, jury, executioner. Warner's convoy pulled up behind me, lawyers in tow. Counselor, ready? He asked. Ready? I checked my watch. 20 minutes until curtain. Inside, the receptionist gave a start. Mrs. Vance, Mr. Vance is expecting you upstairs. I know. I strode to the elevator. Outside the boardroom I heard shouting. Our cash flow is critical, the CFO warned. We need fresh investors, fast, another director insisted. If the designer's project closes, we're saved. At Luna's name I pushed the door open. Conversation froze. Adrian sat at the head, eyes bloodshot. Beside him perched designer-clad Luna. Sorry I'm late, I said sweetly, advancing to the table. What's on the agenda? Serena. What are you doing here? He stammered. Attending my own board meeting. I lifted the transfer agreement. As majority shareholder, gasps rippled around the table. Shareholder? Mrs. Vance. What is this? Adrian's mouth worked soundlessly. It's a joke. He croaked at last. Serena and I are joking. A joke notarized and filed with the SEC? I slapped the contract down. Legally binding since yesterday. I am now the controlling shareholder. The CFO scanned the pages and blanched. She bolted from the cafe, desperate to escape, but the moment she reached the hotel's lobby atrium, reporters swarmed. Ms. Rowe, any comment on destroying another woman's marriage? Do you admit to prior fraud convictions? How will you resolve your marriage to Mr. Carter? The questions pelted her like hail. Words failed her. She tried to push through, but the circle of cameras was airtight. Then Adrian reappeared. He elbowed the press aside and seized her arm. "Come with me." His voice was arctic. "Adrian." A flicker of hope lit her eyes. The next sentence snuffed it out. "We're going to the Los Angeles County Registrar to confirm there's no marriage between us." "What?" Luna gasped. "We were never married." "Cut the act." He produced a photo. "You begged for this fake certificate yesterday. Turns out you plan to wave it around as proof we tied the knot." The shot showed them on the county office steps, counterfeit documents in hand. "Adrian, it's a misunderstanding. Enough." His shout silenced the atrium. "Luna, I see you clearly now. You're a fraud start to finish." He released her arm and walked away. "As of this second, we're strangers." She lurched after him, but Zach blocked her path. "You're going nowhere." He locked a hand around her wrist. "You owe me, and you'll pay." "I don't have a cent," she wailed. "No cash?" Zach's grin was razor thin. "Then we'll find another currency." He raised his phone and snapped shot after shot of her tear-streaked face. "These go live tonight. Let the internet see the real you." "Stop." She lunged for the phone. Zach shoved her back, watching from the fringe. "I decided the curtain had fallen." I stepped forward. "Ms. Rowe, public brawls rarely end well," I said. "Mrs. Vance?" Zach's hostility melted into deference. "You're right. Legal channels only." "Then let's call LAPD." I lifted my cell. "Luna's looking at fraud and bigamy. The police can sort it." The word police detonated inside her. "Don't call them." She dropped to her knees, clutching my coat. "Serena, please, show mercy." "Mercy?" I stared down at her. "When you gutted my marriage, did you consider mercy?" "I was wrong. I know that now." Tears and mascara striped her cheeks. "I'll leave Adrian. Divorce Zach. Just don't turn me in." Too late. I was already connected. "Yes, LAPD Beverly Hills. I need to report felony fraud and bigamy." The last spark died in her eyes. She folded onto the polished floor. Officers arrived within minutes. "Who placed the call?" one asked. "I did." I flashed my bar license. "Attorney Serena Vance, this woman has committed fraud and bigamy." After a quick statement from Zach and a glance at the evidence, they cuffed her. As they guided her away, she glanced back, hate and despair twisting her face. I felt nothing. Justice tastes neutral. That's how you know it's clean. I typed a text to Adrian while the cruiser rolled off. "Show's over. Your little girlfriend is headed to federal prison. Happy." His reply arrived seconds later. "Serena, you're ruthless." I snorted. "Ruthless? We haven't even reached my favorite part." Next on the docket, Adrian himself. I speed-dialed Warner. "Warner, green light phase 2. Copy that." "Counselor." His voice crackled with glee. "Adrian won't know what hit him." I gazed across the atrium, once the stage for Adrian's on bended knee spectacle. Now Luna was en route to federal prison. Adrian's empire was slipping through his fingers, and I remained center court, undefeated. Victory feels embarrassingly good. 3 days later my phone lit up with an unexpected name. "Adrian." "Serena, can we talk?" His voice was hollow. "Face to face. There are things I need to say. Nothing you can't say over the line." I answered, flipping a brief. "I want to apologize in person." A ragged breath. "And I need to know, when did you start planning all this?" Curiosity piqued. I relented. "Fine. Same cafe. Top of the hour." I checked my watch. "Be there or don't." "I'll be there." I smoothed my blazer and headed out. He was already hunched over an untouched espresso, eyes bloodshot, stubble mapping the jawline he used to polish for cameras. "Sit." I took the opposite chair. "Serena, I'm sorry." The apology tumbled out first, raw and ragged. "I hurt you. I know it's unforgivable." And my tone stayed flat. "When did you begin to suspect?" He met my gaze, searching. I thought I'd covered every track. A soft laugh escaped me. "Adrian, you believe you were stealthy? Wasn't I?" "You know what?" I lifted my phone. 3 months ago, I put a private investigator on you." Color drained from his face. "You knew all along? Every hotel key card, every dinner receipt at Nobu, every room service breakfast at the Ritz." I scrolled lazily. "Want a slideshow?" He shook his head. Words failed him. "Then you'll wonder why I still said yes to proposal number 108. I leaned in. "I required legitimate standing to take everything you had." "Meaning? Did you honestly think you signed that share transfer agreement on a whim?" My chuckle was ice against glass. "It was bait, and you swallowed it whole." His pupils dilated. "Remember your first rejected proposal?" I continued. "Next morning a street psychic flagged you down, warned you that only absolute sincerity would win the woman destined to skyrocket your empire." Adrian's breath caught. "Actor on my payroll," I said pleasantly. "Worked like a dream." "You begged me to sign the very clause that would devour you." "Impossible. You couldn't choreograph it that precisely." "Couldn't I?" I slid a bound dossier across the table. My 3-month roadmap, every fake alibi, every due diligence report, every bankruptcy trigger, charted to the hour. He leafed through, cheeks sinking with each page. The predictions were forensic in accuracy. Serena. Why? His voice quavered. We had 5 years. 5 years of what? I snorted. You want the inventory of your betrayals. 2 years ago, your secretary, the marketing VP, your Pilates instructor at Equinox. Shall I continue? His jaw hung slack. I archived every receipt, every late-night Uber, every perfume stain. I tapped the table. I kept waiting for you to confess. You kept choosing lies. Serena. So I designed a net fine enough to catch a moth. I cut him off. 2 years of thread. 1 weekend to cinch it shut. And Luna, he croaked. You knew about her too? Inside and out, her fraud sheet, her outstanding debt to loan sharks, her still valid marriage to Zach. I produced a second folder. She targeted you for a bailout, the phony design project, a $3 million lifeline. Adrian stared at the numbers as if they were autopsy photos. In short, dear husband, you were an easy mark because you never stopped to see who was hunting you. I rose to leave. Serena. Wait. He reached out, desperation rattling in his throat. You own my company, my reputation, everything. Isn't that sufficient? I paused, glancing at the glittering hotel lobby beyond the window, my battlefield. Sufficient? I echoed. You imagine shares compensate for 5 years of my life and 2 years of carefully catalogued humiliation? What more could you possibly want? The question lingered, fragile and trembling, between us. I let the silence stretch, just long enough for him to realize the answer would come on my timetable, not his. Then I walked out, heels clicking like a countdown he could already hear. I smiled over my shoulder. Adrian, you'll find out very soon. Without another word, I turned and walked away. Behind me I heard Adrian's anguished voice, but I didn't look back, because the real show was only just beginning. The next morning I was at my desk in the law firm, sorting documents, when Mia burst in. Serena, something huge just happened. Her face was tight with panic. What is it? I laid the file down. Adrian's been arrested, she said. LAPD picked him up. They're saying massive contract fraud. The news didn't surprise me. When, this morning, police went straight to his Beverly Hills condo. She caught her breath. Every outlet's running it. I opened my laptop. The headline glared back at me. Former Vance Corporation Chairman Adrian Vance arrested for alleged contract fraud totaling $50 million. The comments underneath were on fire. Isn't that the cheating scumbag? Karma serves him right. Can't treat people like garbage. I closed the tab and called Warner. Warner, the plan's unfolding nicely. Indeed, Serena. His tone was satisfied. Those contracts are rotten to the core, enough to put Adrian away for years. All those deals had been inked while Adrian was chasing Luna to bankroll her whims. He'd cut corners everywhere, and every shortcut had left a paper trail. But Serena, you're not actually going to defend him, are you? Warner asked. You're the best litigator in LA. Defend him? I laughed coldly. Warner, would I lift a finger for the man who betrayed me? Of course not. Sorry. Spoke without thinking. After I hung up, I stared at the sky beyond the window. Adrian, this is the price of betrayal. That afternoon my phone rang with an unexpected name, Adrian's mother. Eleanor. Serena, please save my son. Eleanor was sobbing. He's in the Beverly Hills jail and you're a top lawyer. There has to be something you can do. Aunt Eleanor. I'm sorry. There isn't. My voice stayed calm. Serena, I know he wronged you, but he's still your husband. She kept crying. For the sake of everything we once shared. Help him. Shared? I gave a cold laugh. When your son cheated on our wedding day, did you think about shared bonds? I know he messed up, but he's already lost the company. His reputation. What more do you want? I want him to understand that some mistakes cost a lifetime. I showed no mercy. Serena, how did you become so heartless? Disappointment dripped from her tone. Heartless? All the humiliation of the past 2 years flashed through me. Aunt Eleanor, I'm only claiming the justice that belongs to me. I ended the call. A few days later Luna's verdict came down, 3 years in federal prison for fraud and bigamy. That night I celebrated alone with a bottle of Cabernet. The doorbell rang. Figuring it was a delivery, I opened it and found Eleanor. She looked haggard, her eyes swollen from days of tears. Aunt Eleanor? I was startled. What are you doing here? Serena, please save him. She dropped to her knees on my threshold. I'm begging you. Have mercy. A pang of pity twisted inside me. She had always treated me kindly. Aunt Eleanor, get up. I helped her to her feet. Come inside and talk. She settled on the couch, still weeping. Serena, he regrets everything. He says he's sorry, that he knows he was wrong. Sorry? I sat opposite her. If apology Apologies erased crimes. Why would we need courts? You have the power to save him, she pleaded, clutching my hand. If you defend him, he could get a lighter sentence. Looking into her desperate eyes, an idea took shape. Aunt Eleanor, I'll represent Adrian, I said. Her face lit up. Really? With conditions. Name them. I want Adrian to stand in open court and confess every filthy detail, cheating, lies, betrayal. I held her gaze. And he must apologize to me in front of the world. Eleanor hesitated. Take it or leave it, I said flatly. If he refuses, no deal. She waited, then nodded. All right, I'll tell him. Next day she returned with his answer. He agreed. Prison terror must have finally soaked in. I began drafting the defense, though saving him was the last thing on my mind. The goal was to make him bear his sins under the spotlight. Humiliation can hurt worse than bars. Adrian, did you think you could escape? Even in court you will pay. The hearing came quickly. The gallery was packed. Reporters, rubberneckers, everyone. When the bailiffs led Adrian in, I studied his face. He looked gaunt, yet a sliver of hope still flickered. He believed I would rescue him. The judge called the session to order. The prosecutor read the indictment. Contract fraud, enormous sums, aggravated circumstances, 10+ years if convicted. When it was my turn, I rose. Your Honor, my client wishes to plead guilty. Adrian's head snapped toward me, eyes wide in disbelief. But courtroom rules muzzled him. Defendant, stand, the judge ordered. Adrian stood. Do you admit to contract fraud? He glanced at me. I gave a slight nod. Yes, I admit it, he murmured. Very well. Will you describe your crimes for the record? I stood again. Your Honor, my client will do more. He will publicly apologize to his wife. An audible ripple ran through the room. Everyone knew about the cheating. A live apology was headline gold. Proceed, the judge said. Adrian drew a shaky breath. My name is Adrian Vance. I committed contract fraud, he began, voice carrying. But before those crimes, I committed a far worse one. I betrayed my wife, Serena. On our wedding day, I was still entangled with another woman. Camera shutters fired like machine guns. I lied to her, hurt her, shredded her trust, he went on, voice cracking. For a con artist, I threw away the woman who truly loved me. Gasps and tuts rose from the benches. I knelt to my mistress in a shopping mall, bought her designer junk from Rodeo Drive, even planned to marry her, he sobbed, while my wife waited for me at home. Murmurs swept the room. Utter scum. Deserves everything coming to him. Adrian lifted his tear-streaked face. Serena, I'm sorry. I know it's too late, but I have to say it. You're the finest woman on earth, and I'm the least worthy man. He dropped to his knees in front of the bench. I wasted your love, ruined your youth. Hell won't be hot enough for me. Not a single tremor touched my heart. Those words, once longed for, now meant nothing. The judge restored order and handed down the sentence, 8 years in federal prison. I had to defend it to him. All right, symbolically at best. The true verdict was the public confession. Outside the courthouse, Eleanor caught up with me. Serena, why? Fury roared with grief in her eyes. You could have saved him. Aunt Eleanor, I did defend him, I replied coolly. 8 years instead of 10, my defense earned him 2. But you made him admit the truth? I cut in. Do you really believe he shouldn't own what he did? She had no answer. She knew her son had detonated our marriage first. I left her on the steps and took Warner's call. Serena, congratulations on the final victory. The Vance Corporation asset acquisition is closed. You're now our controlling shareholder. Thank you for your cooperation. Warner, my pleasure. He paused. Any plans now? Watching the crowd ebb across the plaza, I considered, I'll go abroad for a while. Clear my head, maybe Tuscany. You've earned the break. Back home, the penthouse was quiet, just like the past 2 years, but the silence felt different now. Before, it had been the hush of waiting for a ghost. Tonight it was the hush after the final gavel. I stepped onto the balcony and gazed at the Los Angeles skyline. Adrian, that is the price of betrayal. The marriage you chased with 108 proposals ends with 8 prison years. Thanks for listening. If you liked the story, hit like and share it with friends. We'd love to hear your take in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more tales. See you next time.